So, God, excuse me. All right. 5 things Elden Ring DLC needs. We'll see about that. I'm curious. I want to know everything. I want to know every little ounce of speculation that everybody has for the DLCs. I'm very excited for it. This should be a good time.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Elden Ring DLC is on the way, and as of right now, while we don't have any concrete information about what it's going to contain, what an expansion of this masterpiece is going to look like, or where a continuation of this journey will take us, one thing that Elden Ring does fantastically is give us such a grand scope, where our imagination can run wild in prediction of what exactly Shadow of the Erdtree is going to be. So today I want to outline 5 major things that I think Elden Ring DLC really needs, and that I would be absolutely overjoyed to see them add to upgrade this game.
Sorry, I'm just trying to listen also to the background music because it sounds really familiar. And it kind of reminds me... It's gonna sound fucking stupid. It kind of reminds me of the music from this really old niche game called Perimeter. It's an RTS game where you're like a civilization moving through like different dimensions trying to find a stable dimension. Okay. And you have to like conserve your energy, and you have like shields, and you get attacked by like bugs and shit, and you have to like stop the bugs from destroying your stuff, and you set up like laser guns and stuff, and you have to move around, and you have to send out your little digging guys, and you gotta like level mountains and fill holes and shit. But the music reminds me a lot of that game. I don't know, it's like the first thing that came to mind. There's a Perimeter 2? If so, I forgot about it. I still need to beat Perimeter 1. See, I have the disc, but as soon as you get to like the last or second last mission, the game just freezes. And I have to like Alt-Control Delete and then restart, and it keeps freezing at this one point. It's so frustrating. I have it all recorded and everything. I was going to upload it to YouTube, but something kept me from doing it, and maybe just laziness. And then I got to that mission and it broke. Just didn't work. I would have been really disappointed to upload an unfinished game. Oh gosh, who would ever do that? Couldn't be me. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Hey man, that's still 50%. I would still check it out. Hey. What? I would replay Perimeter though. I would. I just have to get like another disc that's not fucked. Alright, back to this.
Even further beyond what it already is. But before we dive into that, let me go ahead and tell you about 2 things. Number 1, we're getting super close to 100k subscribers here on the channel.
Yeah.
So if you would like to stay up to date on all things Elden Ring, Armored Core, and From Software, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help.
That's right. I also wanted to watch some Armored Core stuff. We'll do that after.
Help the channel reach that major milestone. And number 2, I'm giving away a copy of From Software's next game, Armored Core 6, and all you gotta do to have a chance of winning that is be subscribed to the channel, leave a like on the video, and let me know what the main thing you want to see in Elden Ring DLC is. But with all that, let's go ahead and get into the list.
There are so many loose
Now,
ends.
this might be the singular most important one to a lot of people, and personally, I think it may be the one I'm counting on the most, but Elden Ring DLC desperately needs to tie up a lot of loose ends in the lore. Now, you guys know very well I love the mysterious, unanswered, and speculative side of the story of these games. And we have lots of videos here on the channel of complete crackpot theories, such as Elden Ring is about mushrooms. But when it comes to Elden Ring lore, we have far more questions than we do answers. And these aren't just simple one-off questions that don't really need an explanation. I'm talking about the foundational building blocks of the story that we're discussing with complete guesswork. And I'll go ahead and list off a few. Number 1, what is the Crucible? Number 2, what is the Helfen in the spirit world? Number 3, what actually are the fingers? And why do they have their powers? Number 4, what did the shattering actually do? And what was the end goal of the shattering? And number 5, is Queen Marika even real? All of those seem like questions that we have answers to, but we really don't. And that's the problem problem
can
with
watch
interpreting this story. Since so many core foundational principles of this game are left open-ended, it's very possible to make a coherent argument for just about anything. And while I am painfully guilty of that, I know I'm not the only one that's starting to want a little bit of answers. Elden Ring's story is abstract by design, and I know we all love the mystery of it, but the fact is the mysteries in this game are so good that it would be a crime not to solve some of them. And at least for me, I would like to explore the lore that we already have before we start to pile even more confusion on top of it. But thankfully, a lot of the elements we got in the preview image were recognizable, so I think that there's a pretty good chance that this happens.
More arms.
Up next on the list, I would like to see more weapon types. Now, this is something that has been leaked for a while. Back in the data mine of patch 1.07, it was discovered that From Software at least put the parameters in place to add several new weapon types, but it's not a guarantee that they're going to do it. That being said, if this does end up becoming a reality, here's a few that I would like to see. For a game that allows you to wield pretty much any weapon that's present in the world, even boss weapons, one of the only ones that cannot drop for the player are the Crystallian Ring Blades. These things have such a unique and cool moveset, and I'm really surprised that we didn't actually get a variant at least, since the Crystallian is a humanoid enemy, and we already have plenty of weapons with some crazy movesets. But if the player could wield these, that would make for a great medium range option, with some swipes for close range attacks, as well as being able to roll it on the ground just like the enemy does. But on top of just being super stylish, I could definitely see some interesting build options here. Now, one weapon type that either needs an entire overhaul or a new type altogether are flails. Even after the latest patch when they got a major buff, they are still by far the worst weapon type, borderline unusable in certain situations. So if I had to imagine a way to make flails better, I would introduce a heavy flail, a weapon type with a large object on a medium length chain that would be fairly slow but deal massive posture damage. When I think about it, I think about that one from Lord of the Rings, but like double or triple the length. But what are some new weapon types y'all would like to see? Let me know down in the comments.
Well, the main issue... Okay, well, I know these games don't need realism. The main issue with making them really long is the fact that it realistically would not work very well. When we were watching the video of the weaponsmith reacting, they were talking about flails and how they were impressed that they were actually properly designed. Because if it was too long, it would just come back and fuck you up. You know, that's true. It would.
Below.
War zones.
The next two are kinda gonna go together, although they're not the same. But for the first one of the most fun aspects of the Souls games needs to make a grand comeback in DLC, and those are dedicated PvP areas. For those of you that are new to Elden Ring, let me briefly explain what these are. Back in the day, there were certain parts of the map where you would get invaded by other players who were in covenants to defend those areas. And while it might have been annoying for a new player, they were designed very well, and the games had systems in place where you would naturally get help from those in other covenants until massive wars would break out, ending when either the host died or made it past the area. And I cannot stress enough, these are some of the most fun times I've ever had in a Souls game. I mean, some of my first content on here was just capturing funny moments that would happen whenever I would play in these areas, getting engaged in these wars over and over again for hours without getting bored. But beyond simply being fun, they created a sense of community that's noticeably lacking in Elden Ring. However, now that the Colosseums have proved that Elden Ring can handle 6 players at a time, there's really nothing stopping From Software from bringing these back. And if they did, it could really be the boon needed to revive PvP in Elden Ring, and let a lot of these new players experience the joy that we had back then of how truly unique and special the online aspects of these games can be. Building off the topic of the last one, Elden Ring needs to take a page out of the Dark Souls games when it comes to the Colosseum. Now, the Colosseum DLC was great for its time, and was exactly what Elden Ring needed, but it had a few problems. Problems that persist even now. And we'll start with the most glaring. First and foremost being that unless you're doing a 1v1 duel, it is nearly impossible to find a match. Now, the most recent patch did state that they were going to improve the matchmaking, but you really can't tell. As it stands at the moment, anything beyond 2 players players is virtually impossible. Secondly, there's no incentive for participation in the Colosseum. You don't get any rewards, besides an upgrade to your arbitrary rank that shows up in the side of the screen. And there are no leaderboards to showcase this rank, so again, not much of a reason to want it. But beyond that, we only have one map available to us. Now yes, you can change the area the map is set in, but the geography remains the same. And all of this combines for an unsatisfactory experience in these Colosseums, objectively making it the worst in From Software history. And it wasn't like this in the past. The Colosseums in the Dark Souls games all had multiple maps, much more consistent matchmaking, and at least in Dark Souls 2 some worthwhile rewards. So I do hope that Shadow of the Erdtree gives these Colosseums a major overhaul, making them something that can be enjoyed much more than in their present state, and that encourages people to play for the long term. But I am optimistic that we will see some changes when it comes to the DLC, because From Software and Bandai Namco are very considerate about the future of PvP. I just think they had their hands full when crafting these Colosseums in Elden Ring, and some of the recent news we've covered here on the channel definitely points to that.
See, I don't really do PvP anymore, so it's not really something that I care too much about. But a lot of people are really into PvP and would really like that. I feel like I used to do World of Warcraft PvP a lot, like back in the days before Burning Crusade came out, and PvP was a lot of fun. It's like I'm especially not into 1v1 PvP anymore, unlike my early like Brood War days. But teamed PvP can be an awful lot of fun. Yeah, Brood War days were something else. Oh my god, RTS in general was just one of my favorite things, but they just don't make them anymore because nobody like cares. Just make it so you get points to trade in for like remembrances or smithing stones. Or yeah, that would be great. Oh, that would actually add real incentive. I think that would be good. And then also have like some cosmetic stuff as well, I think that'd be cool. Victory is incentive enough. Nah, man, I want something shiny.
If there was one feature that would have made the world of Elden Ring significantly better and would have fit gracefully in this setting, it would be Covenants,
yeah, I remember that.
especially since the primary event on the world was a battle between factions. As the player, being able to pledge your loyalty to one of the—
That is one thing that I really love about games like Elden Ring, when they just have weird little things like this. Like, it took me a hot minute and a half to figure out, oh, you've got to change this thing on this random desk and then you can get to your destination. You know, like, it doesn't point you in the direct, like, it doesn't tell you to do it. You have to really figure it out on your own. And I find that to be really stellar. I love that. I freaking love that about these games. Yeah. I mean, I thought this was cool. It took me a little. I went all throughout the tower at first to figure out what the hell was going on. And like it looked like, oh, it's like there's stuff down, up, and around there. It looks like it should be flipped. But I didn't know how to do it. I thought maybe I have to do a spell somewhere. Maybe I have to go somewhere and something happens. But it turns out you just had to go back and just whoop. Turns out I'm just an idiot. I eventually got there. Eventually. It's just I'm not used to playing games. Like, games usually point you in the direction of what you need to do. They're like they tell you what to do. And I think we need more games that don't tell you what to do. My brain is turning into mush.
Gracefully in this setting, it would be Covenants, especially since the primary event on the world was a battle between factions. As the player, being able to pledge your loyalty to one of these factions would have very much amplified the RPG elements of the game. And admittedly, there were several times when I was playing through Elden Ring for the first time that I was confused about why I was fighting a certain boss, because the way a certain quest was setting up, it seemed like I would be able to work with them. The most notable of those being Moog and Melania, who were both already optional bosses. But DLC would be a great time to—
I feel like at this point Melania just kind of isn't really herself anymore. She would probably fight Anyone. And Moog was mostly just trying to protect Michaela, you know? I feel like he's already got his grand design laid out and he doesn't want you interfering in any way. Where is the claymore and how do I get it? Hey. Yeah? What is it?
Moog and Melania, who are both already optional bosses. But DLC would be a great time to introduce Covenants, even if they don't directly tie into the current bosses or leaders of the faction that we can find.
Oh, you know, see, this is what we were talking about the other day. We were talking about, like, why can't I, like, join for, like, you can join with Ronnie, you know, you can go to Ronnie and serve her and shit, but why can't you do it for Radon? Why can't you do it for Rennala? Why can't you do it for Rykard? Why can't you just, like, go up to Melania and be like, let me help you? And it'd be like, I'll help you get I mean, obviously, I'll help you get Michaela back or whatever. But, like, couldn't do that. Because everyone would join Radon. So? I mean, duh. But then, that would also give a lot of replayability. That would give so much replayability. Holy shit, could you imagine if it's like you pick a demigod and then you get to go through a different storyline doing shit for that demigod? It's crazy. It would be crazy. There would be so much replayability to this game. Not that, I mean, there is replayability, but like there would be significantly more. And it would have taken them 3 more years to finish. But still, that means it would have come out, what, next year? And it would have been amazing. I mean, still amazing. Yeah, it's great. You can get Ronnie before fighting Rennala, and then she still gives you the dialogue during the boss fight where she tells you to forget. There is definitely a lack of fact. Well, I'm pretty sure, like, I killed Radon before I got to Ronnie. So Radon is kind of dead. I mean, not really. Radon is just rotted. He's still alive. He's still holding the stars back. He's still doing his duty. He's still protecting his horse. He's still alive. He's not dead. He's kind of, in a way, kind of like Millennia, where he's just super rotted out. But he's not dead. Not dead until we deal with him. You know? Got enough wits to keep protecting his horse, holding back the stars. You speak fast. Yeah, you're getting shell syndrome there, Bridges. Oh no, Shell, it's begun. The infection has spread. But yeah.
In the present game. If we get new areas for the DLC, which I do think we will, then perhaps introduce covenants pertaining to those areas, just to give that extra hand and make—
What is this, fucking Shadowlands? I would be okay with that.
Making the world feel more alive and adding more to the RPG feeling. We
Shadowlands
got a taste of this
right
with the recusants in Volcano Manor, because that quest is exactly how Covenants worked in the past games. And I do think that that's what it was supposed to be, since the recusant finger isn't really any different than your standard invasions. But since it does appear like Covenants were a planned thing for Elden Ring, since we can find the rank up parameters in the files, I do think there's a great chance they make a comeback in DLC, at least in some capacity. Anyways though guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for my personal picks about what I want to see in the DLC. I tried to pick ones that I think have a decent chance to show up, instead of running too wild with the speculation. I am really curious to see what you guys come up with though. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you want to be entered into the giveaway. Check out those links down in the description below if you want to get further involved in the community. And with all that, I will catch you in the next one.
Hell yeah. Got enough wits to keep protecting. Oh yeah. There's a spot in the ocean where there's a black box, which is where people think the DLC will be. Maybe. I felt like this game was kind of rushed. No hate. Still like the game. There's thing in past games that didn't make it in. It don't make sense. I hate a feeling they return. I hate a feeling they will return for DLC. I don't hate that. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't hate it. Have a feeling. Yeah, like there was a lot of stuff with Saint Trina that was cut out. A lot of side quests which will probably have something to do with the DLC, considering it looks like Michaela is going to be a major component of the DLC, and people are also speculating Godwin as well. And if Michaela is a major part of it, then they're probably going to have the DLC have a lot of Saint Trina in it. So I feel like that's hopefully that quest ends up making it into the DLC. A Farah Missoula area, maybe. Who knows? Or maybe that's where, like, the dream world is gonna be, if there is a dream world. A poorly optimized game for sure, graphically speaking, but gameplay is awesome. We forget. I mean, it's better than a lot of other games, and it is huge. It is such a big game. Like, there's no... I mean, it makes sense as to why there might be an issue here or there. Surprisingly, though, it works so much better than a lot of RPGs. Like, I remember going through... like Fallout 4, the amount of glitches in that, just existing in the world. Like when I was going through Elden Ring, I don't remember very many instances where shit was just fucked around me, you know? Oh, PC is always the way to go. Skyrim day one glitches. I had Skyrim initially for the PS3. I mean, not the PS3, the Xbox 360. That's what I meant to say. And it was great. The entirety. Well, there were a few quest lines that just straight up didn't work. A tree did kill me, yeah. But, you know, that was different. I have seen the Internet Historian Fallout 76 video. It was something else. Oh, God. That was... Whew. I didn't have too many games for the 360, if I'm honest, but I did spend an awful lot of time playing Skyrim. I think I put about 1,300 hours into Xbox 360 Skyrim. Oh, Aviva Pinata! Oh my god. Oh yeah, Fable and Fable 2. Oh my god. Oh, what was it? Knights of the Old Republic, I believe. I don't remember if I played that on my Xbox or if I played it on my 360. Never played Borderlands. I don't really like the look of Borderlands. I don't know, it doesn't look like it's for me. But man, I'm so excited for the Elden Ring DLC. We were talking about it the other day. Apparently they've been working on it for a year already. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, didn't 360 have, like, playback? Maybe I did have an Xbox then. Excuse me. Couldn't you play could you play Xbox games on 360 or no? Maybe I did just have an Xbox. I don't remember, man. I was like 13 or 14 when I was playing it, I think. You can? Oh, then I probably had it on the 360. Or, like, played it on my 360. Some games were backwards compatible, not all, so maybe 360 has full Xbox backwards compatibility. Yeah, PlayStation 2 had backwards compatibility too, which was awesome. You just needed to have an Xbox, or no, my words, I cannot speak. You just needed a PlayStation 1 memory card. And you could save like 4 games on it. I remember that. I remember playing like Spyro and whatnot. PS3 did as well, just first generation though. Oh, damn, man. Those were the days. This is why you just play PC. Then they revisited it so you couldn't boot PS2 games anymore. And that is why we totally don't all have PlayStation 2 emulators. Who would do that? That's so naughty. Didn't even have a memory card. I had to start Alone in the Dark from the beginning. Oh gosh! You didn't even have a memory card? That's so sad. Who would ever emulate Sly Cooper? Fucking sickos. Obviously. I had to save up your pocket money to buy one. Be like, Mom, I'll do the dishes. I swear I won't leave any residue on the plates. I'm gonna do such a good job. I'll clean my bedroom. Oh. 360 had like 90% backwards compatibility. Yeah. Oh my god, Sean. Yeah, those are the days. Then it crippled half the features. Yeah. Oh.